Hi, I'm Mikaela, and this is my Green Urban Connector proposal for Brisbane City. So we're just going to brush over the site analysis and precedents and then move through into the design processes and eventually the master plan. So in terms of site context, we've got a relatively young demographic, around about age 30, living in high density dwellings that don't have their own green spaces, so they rely on the public realm to provide those for them so they can have access to open space. In terms of site connectivity, it's quite limited from getting one side of the river to the other. You've got the cross river ferry, or you have to go all the way around and over the top of the Story Bridge to get to those spots. For the current native environments, they are quite spaced out. You've got the botanical gardens, and then you also have the green space of the Kangaroo Point. However, they aren't connected, and the people will have to take that longer journey to get to them. So this bridge will provide that essential bridging for people to embrace and enjoy those green spaces. Moving on to the risks, opportunities and limitations of the site, we've obviously got the flooding. That is one of the biggest issues, so we will have to take into consideration and build above those flood protection levels. Furthermore, there is the displacement of boat dwellers, so that will pose an issue for them and potentially for us. We don't want to be taking away people's homes, so potentially incorporating them into the design as well. Opportunities would be to provide services for the homeless. So the homelessness in the area is quite high, and they don't seem to have very many services available to them, so we could provide some community support through the design as well. And another opportunity would be to bridge the gap between the botanical gardens and the green space on Kangaroo Point. Some limitations are we want it to link to the botanical gardens still. We don't want to detract from them at all. We just want it to be a thoroughfare to those places while still providing an experience for the user whilst they're on there. In terms of precedents, you've got amphibious house, and that strategy that they use there is weightlessness through water, and we will be implementing that one in the master plan through the structure in order to make it seem like it is weightless and you're floating. The Green City Spectator utilises sustainability in terms of the social active functions and enhanced green spaces. So they're using urban farming. We'll utilise this theory and implement urban farming within our master plan. It will create a more user-friendly experience and lead into the concept of symbiosis through the connection of the people and the food and land. Ribbons of Life utilises coexistence as its strategy, and it will inform my master plan. And it will inform our master plan through the weaving corridors of human activity and nature. The Greenway Bridge in China focuses on connectivity, and we will implement that through ensuring that people have more than one way to get through the site. So we want an option to take your time and then a fast way through if you need to get across site very quickly. Okay, so now on to design planning. Initially, we collaged the site analysis and extruded and pulled from that the important pieces that related to the concept. So the pieces that we found relevant were the nature and the city relationship, so how those two work together, and then eventually how they're connected, which led to the evolved shape of a jigsaw. Next, onto the collage of precedent studies. So we connected them all and brought through from it the relationship between water, nature and humans and how they fit together, whilst keeping them in mind the jigsaw form. Following this was designing with the specific concept in mind. So mutualism is the concept. It's a term from symbiosis, and it just means that each component within this relationship benefits the exact same amount. So no one gets more and no one gets less. We wanted to pull this through from the nature and city elements of our site analysis. We used the yin and yang symbol as it represents that balance and moved through trying to incorporate the notion of mutualism through people and nature, as well as the jigsaw form that was from the initial design stages. The form that resulted took in each strategy from the design precedents and represents and helps enhance the relationship of the city and nature through its conceptual thinking. Okay, now the master plan. The master plan allows ample ability and space for the program to respond to the risks, limits and opportunities of the site, such as the boat dweller displacement issue and homelessness via the bottom sections of the site. So you've got the wharf and then the bit that protrudes off the Kangaroo Point, and that can house homeless services. It executes strategies of connectivity via the thoroughfare that runs straight through the site uninterrupted. Some people want the flourishes, but others just need the connection. So we have made it the option of picking a fast track or an elongated journey. Coexistence is enhanced through the nexus of the form. So those interlocking pieces at the centre, they represent city and nature's reliance on each other and how those two elements can combine together to create a bigger picture and a nicer environment. Weightlessness is incorporated in those interlocking jigsaw pieces. Water will surround and make the user feel as if they are walking on water from the slight buoyancy of it. So we will implement from the amphibious house, the structure in which those elements rise up with water. And finally, for sustainability, it's resolved in nature's connection fragment. It's going to house the urban farming facilities to promote and give essential healthy living options to local residents that don't have their own gardens to potentially try these things, and the homeless who don't have the options or funds to buy these things. Furthermore, just the very notion of this bridge, it's pedestrian use only. It's going to be a green bridge. It reduces the reliance on automotives to get from. It encourages sustainability. It will reduce the reliance people have on automotives to get from one side to the other. It encourages green methods of travel. Overall, this master plan brings an opportunity to Brisbane. That is, to recapture and revitalise the relationship between nature and the cityscape. For so long, it's been a concrete jungle, so we're going to try and bring back and re-inject that jungle back into the city.